Hello, bicycle touring friends. Welcome to Bicycle Touring Talk episode 81. My name is George Schlackheg.
The one and only.
If you've been following this series, you already know that it is about my coast-to-coast bicycle tour across Canada. In the last episode, I had just crossed the longitudinal center of Canada, theoretically the halfway point of my journey. The morning of Friday, June 30th, 2017, started in the median of the Trans-Canada Highway somewhere between Winnipeg and the Ontario border. When I got up, the tent and its surroundings were still very wet, and it didn't look like that was about to change anytime soon.
Wonderful, foggy morning. Yeah, I'm in the middle of nowhere. It's called Sandyland Forest, and I just packed up here. Everything is still wet. If this is going to be a rainy day, I'm going to be screwed. I'm going to have to get another room in Kenora. I don't know how much they go for.
I decided to pack it all in and deal with it later. Once again, I would have to check into an official campground relatively early or find a place to unpack and dry the tent along the way. When I hit the road, it was quiet and still a bit wet. I stopped at the Pinewood rest area and made a hot breakfast with oatmeal and instant coffee. Afterwards, I made use of the high-powered hand dryer in the washroom to dry my rain jacket and my towel.
Yeah, I'm still at the Pinewood rest area here, and I managed to use the hand dryer to dry off my rain jacket. It was soaked, but it's fast drying, and now it's not perfect, but it's good enough so that it'll probably dry off as I ride completely. And you know, if this is gonna be a nice day, I'll be quite okay. If this is gonna be a rainy day, well, at least I got some protection from the wind and the rain, and we'll see how it goes.
The ride started really good, but there was one gray cloud always following me around, threatening more rain. Traffic soon got busier. When I came close to Falcon Lake, there was a construction zone where all traffic was using the eastbound lanes, taking alternating turns. I got to chat with the young lady who was directing traffic. She said I was the first cross-country cyclist she talked to and told me about
more rain in the forecast.
Oh, can you tell I'm fed up of rain?
Just a short ride further, the Ontario border came into close range. But I made a left turn into the Manitoba Visitor Center. I had already cycled 78 kilometers and was getting hungry. Just when I found a perfect picnic table, it started raining. So I went inside the building and ate some trail mix. A little later, it was sunny again, and since the table was barely wet, I finally sat down for a sandwich.
So I took a lunch break here. It's the Manitoba Visitor Center. I was hoping they had a Ontario map for me, but they don't. They told me to go to Kenora, which is okay. So, well, I put on some sunscreen, but the weather is iffy. I might actually need a raincoat. We'll see. Keep my fingers crossed again.
Next, I was crossing the Ontario border. Another phase in my journey was about to begin.
Kilometer 490 of Manitoba, Trans-Canada, but here I am entering the province of Ontario. Yay! Here it goes. We got ride time, blah blah blah. Average speed 19.8, maximum speed 47.6, total distance 3,964. So on my way to Kenora right now. Hopefully there'll be a real camping spot because my tent's still wet.
Almost immediately, the terrain looked very different from the wide open prairies. The highway was lined with trees, and there were gentle rolling hills. I enjoyed it due to the faster speed while descending. Then there was that little gray cloud again. It had grown into a monster this time around. And yes, it was raining. I spotted a roadside restaurant which had been shut down, but the building had a wide overhang providing shelter. I just wanted to put my rain jacket on, but suddenly the rain was pouring down like crazy, and I had to wait it out.
Rain, 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 and more rain. Tent's still all wet from last night. What can you do, right? Because to hang out here for a bit till this clears up. Hopefully it won't take all afternoon.
Even after it stopped, the ride continued wet because of the amount of water on the road that got sprayed around by passing cars. Eventually, I reached the Lake of the Woods Welcome Center, where I stopped and got an Ontario map along with info on nearby camping options. The ride through Kenora was difficult due to traffic. This was the beginning of Canada Day long weekend. I made a stop at the crowded McDonald's for a hot burger and a cup of coffee. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi sucked, probably due to a power outage that had affected the whole town a while earlier. Camping was at the Anisinave Park, but I was initially turned down.
We're all full.
I was told. Beside the office building was a nice canopy with picnic tables. There were a number of other people who had also been turned down for a campsite, but permitted to camp in the parking lot with their humongous RVs. Did this make sense? My tent was so much smaller. I decided to stick around, dry my tent on the railing, and use the laundry facilities at the office. Staff would go home around 10. Maybe I would just stealth camp. Then I got a surprise. The lady who ran the office came out and offered me a camping spot. For $20, I now had access to Wi-Fi and showers, plus a legal campsite. The park was huge and there was plenty of room. I set up in a quiet spot up on a hill just outside the official camping area. It was perfect. Then it was Canada Day. When I woke up, I was in no hurry because I had been planning to take a day off from cycling anyways to celebrate Canada Day. Kenora seemed to be a good place for that, but soon I realized that more rain was likely. It got me taking down the tent early. I had breakfast under the canopy while my tent was drying off from the condensation. Sure enough, rain started as I was sitting there. It was windy too. It didn't feel like the 1st of July at all. This lousy weather lasted all morning, so I wasn't going anywhere. A friendly family had a barbecue at the next table and offered me some hot dogs, which I accepted gratefully. Eventually they left and I was by myself again. The weather was finally improving. I first did some shopping at the Walmart and then made my way to the harbor front and the Canada Day festivities. There were a lot of people, vendors offering a variety of foods and a farmer's market under a large canopy. I talked to a number of people who were curious about my tour. With a loaded touring bike, I sure was the odd one out. One guy proudly showed me his electric bike, indicating I needed one of those. It turned out that his chain was in a state of neglect, which he apparently hadn't been aware of. He actually thanked me when I pointed that out. Then a really dark cloud popped up right over the harbor front. What followed was a short but torrential downpour. That pretty much killed the celebrations. I decided to wait a while, but then hit the road. No camping was available anyways. Why not just ride? As usual. Local people had advised me to take routes 71 and 11 via Fort Frances. It seemed like good advice, especially since most big trucks travel on Route 17. It took me a while to get out of town and to the turnoff for Highway 71. I had supper at a small picnic area and continued on for a while.
Happy Canada Day. Yeah, this is kind of like the way I like it. Not necessarily by myself, but you know, it's quiet here. I left Kenora. I liked the celebrations there, sort of. There wasn't too much going on really that tickled my fancy. There's some heavy rain, as you could see on the video I took, but you know, with a loaded touring bike and stuff, I'm the odd one out everywhere.
The hills on this highway were quite fun to ride, as they were never too long and always followed by a fast descent. When coming down one of those grades, I noticed someone on a touring bike coming the opposite way, working hard to get up the hill. The rider introduced himself as Felix from Montreal. He had been on the road since April and was headed to Wyoming. There was a lot to talk about, but daylight was already fading. I rode on for a while, but started looking around for camping options not too far off the road. Eventually, I found a spot. It was up on a hill, but hidden, surrounded by trees and bushes. I set up the tent and settled down. I didn't fall asleep right away. There were sounds of fireworks off in the distance. That, my friends, was my Canada Day. Canada's official 150th anniversary. Woo! Of course, there was still much road ahead of me on this journey. I'll be telling you all about it in upcoming episodes. If you enjoyed this one, Hit the like button once and make sure it turns blue. Subscribe if you haven't yet. It's 100% free.